To all the geeks and nerds out there, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Logic. And we're starting off today in a cave because we need these things. We need some more cobwebs because today we're going to start building a new farm today in the Death Star because we need a particular item. And cobwebs are an integral part of that design, and we might use them for something else as well, but more about that later. So just been going through these caves, gathering up some cobwebs because we've got various of them. There is some more over there, so I don't actually have any. I looked through all my storage and I couldn't find any, so this is a good opportunity just to grab a whole bunch, which I've done, and I've fallen down. So I'm going to go through a few more caves. I think there's some more over there because there's a whole bunch of mine shafts in this area. So I'm going to just go through all this, get some more cobwebs, and then I'll meet you back at the Death Star. And we're back in the end, flying through with our spaceships, and last episode was a great success. We managed to finish up the Star Destroyer with the iron farm inside it, parked next door to our mighty Death Star right here. So that was a really cool episode. Really glad how that all turned out. There it is. Oh, what a ship. What a ship. That turned out really well. So really happy about that. If you didn't see that, then go and check it out. That was a good one. And I've got quite a few comments from people. I guess there's some new people in the community. And just to confirm, this is all survival. There is no creative in this world. Obviously, I designed a lot of my stuff in creative first beforehand before I build it up here. But this is all totally survival. So anyway, let's get into the Death Star because today we are going to fix a big problem. So obviously we need to make a farm, as I said earlier, but we are going to fix a problem, and that problem is right here. This room, this hangar, does not have a ceiling anymore. We took that out a few episodes ago. This was covered in cauldrons, but that was messing with our villagers that are just up there, and so we had to rip it all out to fix that problem. But now we've got a new problem, and that is no ceiling. But we're going to fix it because we're going to build a brand new farm, and we're going to cover this area in that block. So we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to use a single block for now. We might change it up in the future to make it a bit more interesting, but for the time being, for today at least, that is going to be the plan. But down here, I have made a start. In fact, not here. We want to go down to this one, this level right here, as I've got my netherrack. I've been trying to work out spacing and things like that. Now, the farm we're going to build, as you could probably know already from the thumbnail and stuff like that, but yeah, we're going to build in a kelp farm. And in fact, we're going to build three. We're going to build one over here, one in the center, and one over here. Now, because these kelp farms are pretty big, they are actually going to take up more than 2 levels. So we're going to be at this level, and we're going to have to come in here, walk down a few steps. So this is going to be ground level, and it's going to go up all the way up there to our storage system. So this is just over two levels. So you can see there is the doorway there. There's the next doorway, and then there is the next one. So we're going to go all the way up to there. So pretty big, and there's going to be 3 of them, and we're going to use some green lasers to cut them all down. So that is going to be cool. So yeah, I guess we need to start building it up in a minute. So I've started to get all the bits and pieces that I need, and the last bit I was looking for with these cobwebs. So got just over 2.5 stacks. So that is plenty. So I guess I need to get the rest of my materials together, bring them all down here, and then we can start construction. We are slowly but surely being invaded by Endermen, and that is because on the other side of this wall is our iron farm, and whenever they take damage they end up teleporting inside here. So I need to be super careful where I look because that could be bad news if I end up looking at a few of those. So I need to be careful and try and think of a solution for that. So that'll be something I'm going to think about. But here is the start of the first one, the first of our kelp farms, and this is going to be a cylinder of this size, this radius, and it's going to go pretty much all the way up there to the storage system, just a few blocks away in fact. So this is a big old cylinder, and of course it needs to be filled with water. Now I've got some ice, so I'm going to experiment with the best way to fill this up. I'm going to try ice, but it may be easy just with a bucket, so I'm not sure yet. But I don't have that much ice, so we might have to go over to the ice farm and get some more if that's the way we're going to do it. But yeah, just thought I'd show you that this is the size, so we need to just build this up. So I think I'm going to do that first, and then once we've got that, then we'll have to do the filling with water and get the kelp in. And we need a lot of kelp because that, if we remember from a few episodes ago, we need about 2,000 blocks, so 2,000 kelp blocks to fill this place up. And of course, each kelp block needs 9 kelp. So of course that is 18,000 kelp. So that is a lot. So we need to get these farms moving as quickly as possible and start this stuff coming in. And then as we're waiting for it to come in, we can do some other projects around here. So I think I just want to focus on getting these done as quickly as possible. And here it is, cylinder number 1 is complete, except for the water inside. So let's get on and do that. And there is some interesting stuff about the water that we need to take care of. So you'll see here we have these gaps. That is for our laser that's going to come across, our green laser is going to come across, and it's going to slice the kelp here, and all the kelp's going to float up to the top because all of this needs to be source blocks. And that is what we're going to do next. So I've got some ice and I've got some water. So hopefully we can just breaky. No, not that. I knew that was going to happen. I don't want to spill the water. I've got lots of concrete all over the place, concrete powder and things like that. So hopefully that's not going to ruin anything down there. But yeah, we're just going to do this and yeah, break all of this. Being very careful not to break any more leaves. Okay, that's the bottom layer done. Now we're going to leave this block is going to be empty. And we're going to put in source blocks all the way here. So I think this level I'm going to do just full of ice, just so I can make sure I control where the water sources are properly. And we don't get any weird flowing anywhere. So all of this needs to be ice up to here. Okay, then we've got to fill this in. And now you can see as I break it, it doesn't flow everywhere. It just flows out just to there because we've got that one source block over there. So that is good stuff. So the idea here is that when our laser beam comes along, it can go through here and pass through, but the water is not going to escape and flow everywhere. So hopefully that's all going to work out. But yeah, now I just got to do this all the way up. So I'm going to try a few different ways of doing it, using different methods of placing the ice or using a bucket. But the idea now is that I'll fill this whole tube up with source blocks and then we can get the kelp in. But of course the obvious way is to fill this place up with kelp, as we're going to do anyway for our farm. And then if we just drop in some water from the top, that will be flowing water, but then as the kelp grows, it will turn it into source blocks. So that is probably what we're going to do. So we just need to go and fill all of this in, just like this. I'm now at the very top, and I'm placing in this layer of ice right here. So when we break this, it's going to flow down and give us flowing water all the way down to the bottom. And as the kelp grows, it will turn it into source blocks, which is all good. Now we need source blocks because we want the items when they're broken to float all the way to the top. And yeah, if it's not source blocks, then they won't do that. But now what we're going to do now is we need to create a water stream along the top here. So we put these here and we do this. Hopefully this should all work out. There we go. Let's jump out of here. There we go. Right. So the idea here is that so all of these ice is going to melt, and we can also break it, of course, and then that will fill up this this chamber with water. And then as the items flow up, they'll then get into this water stream. Will get pushed along this way. They'll hit this this glass pane right here and go into the cobwebs. That will stop the momentum, and then they'll fall straight down there, and then we'll have a collection area at the bottom for them. But yeah, I guess once I've broken this ice, the next thing to do is to get our laser in place. That's going to sweep across backwards and forwards and break all this kelp. I am, of course, now balancing on our green laser, which is totally not some slime blocks and a flying machine. It's totally not that. But over here we have the launching mechanism, and of course I had to use these temporary blocks, and this, when I break them, it's going to set it off. But I've got an idea for a kind of timer for this, which is going to be a little bit different to what we've done before. So hopefully that'll be interesting in a second. But the kelp has started to grow. It's not grown fully. Now, one thing I need to just make sure about is that when this grows up, obviously the blocks that the kelp grows into will turn into source blocks, but this kelp is going to grow at different heights. So there will be some at the top there that won't be source blocks. So I'll have to go in there maybe afterwards and try and fix that. But it's all right at the moment. So let's just launch this, and it should go over there and get stopped by that that obsidian over there. So if we break this one. No, not that one. This one. Dang it. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see what happens this time. And we break. And off it goes. Yes. So you can see there's breaking the kelp, and the kelp is floating up, but it probably won't make it all the way to the top. But so there you go. Look, it's falling down again. Yeah, that's expected. But yeah, our laser has now stopped at this side, and there it is. All right, so the last thing to do on this front then is to add a timer to each end, and we need to leave this quite a long time because obviously this kelp needs to grow as high up as possible, and yeah, that's going to take quite some time. So we need a special kind of clock here that can relaunch this thing over maybe, I don't know, quite a long time. But let's build it up and I'll tell you all about it. This clock is going to be powered by saplings. That's right. We've used this kind of thing before to give us a random timer, and we're going to use it again now with a few other bits and pieces, which I'm going to just talk about quickly. And this is my creative test world, if you didn't realise. And I thought it'd be easier to show you it here rather than in survival when it's we're a bit more constrained. So here is the idea. We've got this sapling, and what we can do is we can use an observer to detect every time it tries to grow. Now, of course, it can't grow because there's a glass block above it, but every time it does, then the observer will see it and give us a power output here. Now, if I was to increase the ticks, so if we go to game rule random tick speed, if we just increase that to something insane, then you can see, there we go, we can see that it's flashing quite a lot. So that's every time the tree tries to grow, but it can't. So let's get that back to normal. So that just demonstrates that we'll get a signal out of this randomly at a random time. Now, I'm thinking that to let all of the kelp grow, we probably want to have it going longer than just one detection. So if we can combine it with this thing, which is a counter, then we can maybe set this to a certain number, which we'll work out in a minute. But if we can count a certain number of growths, and then only after a certain number of times we then activate this, that can activate our flying machine, which is our laser, to activate. So this build here is in fact a design from Kaz from Azuma Gaming's. I'll stick a link in the description to his tutorial. It's a little bit old, but it works great. So the idea here is that we have these two droppers here point to each other. We've got another two droppers here point to each other. And in this one, we have a number of items. This is the number of items you want to count. So we've got 3 in here. And up in here, you have a non-stackable item. And so basically, we can just press this button. So this will be a signal that comes in. Then we go down to 2, press it again, down to 1, press it again. We get an output. And also it resets again. So this is perfect. So this is what we're going to be building up. And what we can do is we can combine those two things together. So here's our sapling detector going into our counter. So every time this sapling tries to grow, it will increase the counter. And then we can take our signal out here, which can be powering this trapdoor. And of course, we all know that if we're going to use a flying machine like this, we can update the block above it, and our flying machine will move along just like that. And here it is, in all wired up to this prototype that I've been working on. Obviously, I've got a few other experiments that didn't go so well. But yeah, the only other thing I'm going to add is on the side of the flying machine, I'm going to attach this block right here. So when it comes into dock, it's going to go above this torch, which is going to be waiting, and that will then give us a signal through here, and that will power this piston, which is going to put the observer into place. So the idea here is that only when the flying machine is docked on this side will we start counting every time the sapling tries to grow. So hopefully that is all going to work out all right. And of course, we built this on both sides, and then the question is just the question of how many items do we put in here? How many growths do we need to do now? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I've done a few tests. I think I'm going to start off with 20 and see how we get on. We might need to reduce it or add to it. Just going to have to be a bit of trial and error with that and see how it goes. But yeah, I think the next thing to do now is to build this whole thing up in survival. We need to build the other two cylinders with all the timers in place. So let's kick the music off and let's get building. A lot of progress has been made, and I am trying to fill up all of these cylinders with as much kelp as possible because we need water sources all the way to the top, as I said before. So yeah, we're making progress with that, but I'm running out of kelp. So I think I'm going to have to go over to one of the other cylinders and yeah, do a quick farm of that and use it to fill this one up. So yeah, we've just got a few more of these to go. So let's just get these down. Where's that go? There. Okay, that's it. That's all my kelp out, all gone. So let's get up here before I drown. Where's the hole? There it is. All right. So as you can see, we have built up all 3 silos, all 3 cylinders. They're all done. So that was pretty cool. Wasn't too bad to build up, because basically it's just, you know, obviously just a lot of placing of glass, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, just getting all the sources in is the hard bit. As you can see from this one, we are well on the way. Just got a bit more to go. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is, because some of these, or this one over here, or both of them actually, if I can get my rockets. Where are my rockets? Here. I found my rockets eventually. This is the silo we're going to harvest. So I'm going to manually trigger the flying machines because I've not wired up all of the timer. So let's just break this block, and that should go across and break. Yep, there it goes. I thought it wasn't going to work there for a second. Let's get rid of that dirt as well, and that should stay over there because that is all that was all disconnected, so that won't trigger. But hopefully we can just fly up into here, and you can see actually some of the kelp is making its way up. And it's going into the cobwebs. That is good. Good stuff. Very nice. And so actually underneath, let me show you what I've done so far underneath as well. I've started to do some of the catchment area. So we've got this this ice right here. So the kelp should land on that once it comes out, hopefully. It's going to take a few more seconds for it to come through the cobwebs, but it should, once it comes down here and lands, it should land on that ice. There it is, yes. So obviously that's going to have water on it. And the good thing about the cobwebs is that gives those items a chance to group up into stacks rather than just being individual items. So then this will all have water sources on it, or water flowing, should I say, and it will flow over here this way and join up with this one, which is for this silo right here, and then it's going to go down this hole right here, and then it's going to go into the water just over there, which is where our wheat goes as well. So that's all wired up into our system. So we do need to go to the storage system and get an item filter set up for the kelp. But yeah, we should be almost there. So I think I'm just going to grab all of this kelp that's come out of this one, fill up that one over there, and then go and get the storage system all wired up. And then I'm going to leave this overnight and AFK and see how much we can get just overnight, because that would be pretty cool. So let me get cracking, get that sorted out, and then we'll see how much I collect when we come back. Welcome back to my AFK room, and I have derped. I've been a derp. In fact, I've done a massive derp. So let's get out of here and let me explain. So we have all of our silos, and actually now everything is operational, but I made a big old derp. And that is, I went AFK overnight, but I didn't set this one up properly, and so it hardly harvested anything at all. So basically, what happened here is I showed you my counter already, and that the system for moving the flying machine backwards and forwards already. And I tried it with 20 items, and it turns out that is far too much. It turns out that just overnight it only harvested twice, and we didn't get much out of it. So that was a big derp. And then in the morning, I decided, I know these are almost done, so why don't I set all these up and go AFK while I'm at work and just leave these running all day long. And then I came back to virtually nothing. And the reason for that is that this one was wrong. I built it wrong. So the droppers over there were actually not facing each other like they should be. And so when the items were getting spat out, they were kind of just falling on the floor and not going into each other. So this whole silo just didn't work at all. This one over here as well had some other problems. I can't remember what it was. Oh no, this one, yeah, I know now. Yeah, I didn't fill all the water up with sources. So remember, we filled all this up with the kelp to get all of the water sources. I didn't do it on this one, and so when this one harvested, this one was harvesting backwards and forwards as it should do. But all of the items, or hardly any items, were making it up because they couldn't float to the top. So yeah, I have been AFK probably for a total of like 16 hours and hardly got anything. But the good news is I think I've got it all set up now, and I've also reduced the counters now. So instead of being the 20 items I spoke about before, I think I now got it down to 8. So let's just make sure if I can land. Always got the flying skills. Oh no. Me and flying. I need to take flying lessons. Right, who's good at flying? I need some lessons. And that's the jeez. Okay, I've made it up here now. Oh man, up here. And if we go, this is our counter. So if we go into here, so we've got 8 items. Yeah, so this is the fly machine is docked on that side, so this one's currently not counting, but we're using 8 items. So I think that's a much better number. The kelp, obviously, because this is all random, it depends how often this is going to fire on counting eight kind of ticks of growth, and also it depends how high this grows. But I think that's actually a good compromise in terms of getting things harvested in a reasonable time. And you can see that I've added all of the water streams now underneath. So all of the items from this will fall down to this water stream, and I've done the same on the other side, and they go all the way over there like I showed you earlier, and all group up together and end up going down this tube and then into our system just here. So that is good. Now I'm a little bit worried that we're going to have enough kelp to do the ceiling in time because it's currently Friday night. And I've got tomorrow to work on this, and then it's got to get out for Sunday. So I'm not sure if we're actually going to get enough kelp to finish this ceiling, but we'll see. I'm just going to leave this going the whole time, and we'll just have to see what we get. And obviously, we need to smelt it all as well, which I totally forgot. So that's another thing. But in the meantime, let's make use of this time as much as we can. So I think I'm going to obviously try and work on the room itself for the kelp. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. One thing I try to do with the design of this is to keep all of the redstone and as much of the fly machine as possible behind this line here, behind this obsidian. So if we can build a wall here, then all of this will be hidden, and all we'll see is the green laser beams poking out of the wall and going backwards and forwards. So hopefully we can work out something. So I'll have to think about that. And then if we get time, I'd like to work on some more things, like some more corridors, things like that, some other finishing off if we get time. So with that said, it's time for me to go to bed, and I'm going to leave this AFK, and we'll see what we get in the morning. Hopefully more than last time. It's now the morning, and we certainly did get more kelp than last time. We've got 7 shulker boxes so far. It's actually a bit further on during the day. I've been doing some work with the room and stuff, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, so far we've got 7 shulker boxes of kelp, which I've just started smelting, and just set up this ghetto smelter here. Obviously, our super smelter we've got over there is normal furnaces, and I don't want to sort of take that down or anything like that. So using the smokers because they are quicker, and we should be getting, hopefully, what can I open? Oh no, does not open with. Oh no. Looks like it's okay going, but you can't open a shulker box under a hopper, looks like. Oh well. But looks like that is all working, which is good news. So alright, so that is going to smelt up. So I think we need a total of 10.5 shulker boxes. So we've got 7, so a bit more to go. So good news that it's working. So let's head on down to the room, and I'll show you what I've done so far. And here we come in, swooping into the room. Here we are. Right, so I've done the floor. You've seen me do this quite a few times before, so this is our normal kind of our style. Obviously not copied from another room, just kind of riffing off of the normal style. And I thought the walls we can do will match what we do for the hangar. So we're going to have obviously the concrete powder, the concrete, and also some andesite. And we're going to have these quartz pillars that go around as well to break it up. So I've just kind of laid all this stuff out so we know where it was all going to go. And I think it all fits. It was all going to be good. Just got to build it all the way up, up there. I think that's about 28 blocks or something. So yeah, bit of block placing, but shouldn't be too bad. I think I've got all the materials ready, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. And as you can see, this one's freshly been harvested, and actually you get the odd 1 or 2 kelp that come out because the slime bot pushes it out, but not too bad, not too bad. So that one's just freshly done. This one is going to go soon, I reckon. And this one too looks like sort of maybe halfway done. So yeah, it's looking good, looking good. So I think I'm just going to focus now on getting this room finished up. I'm not sure about the ceiling yet. I might just leave it open so you can see the underneath of the storage room. I think that looks pretty cool. But I think it's just a case now of placing all these blocks, and let's see how much we can get done. I have been extremely busy, and I've learned a new trick. Look at this. I can juggle with my own head. Yeah, and look at my levels, 6. In the last clip, I had 100. So, as you can see, I died and ended up killed me while I was AFK. And I managed to not get it on camera because I wasn't recording. But yeah, that was fun. So let me show you, I'll tell you about that in a minute, but let me show you the room so far. I've built all these walls all the way up. And yeah, we've kind of done this stuff before, so I don't want to worry about a time lapse or anything like that. But yeah, got all this done. And yeah, it looks pretty good. And I think for the ceiling, I think I want to use the kelp block, the same as what we do for the hangar. So that this room will mirror the hangar pretty much. But yeah, we've been collecting some more kelp. We haven't quite got enough yet. We're still waiting for some more to come in. I think we need 1 more shulker box, and then we'll be good. But yeah, basically, oh yeah, I've also done this corridor down here. Let's show you this. So we've got a nice little corridor here that matches the style for the rest of the Death Star, you know, same mold, same kind of materials and design. And I've also done this corridor as well, all the way around. So I've been very, very busy trying to, obviously, as we're waiting for the kelp to come and obviously grow and also smelt. Yeah, just been keeping busy. So I would like to do some more of these if I can, but probably not this episode. I'll do it between episodes, I guess. But yeah, this was my AFK spot. So I was inside this glass box. And I went away to have some lunch, and I came back, and I was dead. So I didn't lose any items. I managed to get all my items back, so no big deal there. But yeah, that was a bit funny. So, but as I've got my head, I thought we could do something pretty cool with it. The first one we've got. So let's land over here, and if we come into this one, this level right here, this is level 7, and this overlooks the hangar, where I can see all the troops down there. And I thought maybe what we could do is we could put me just here. So if we get my head right there, and we got some black armor, because we are obviously we are Logic Vader, or whatever you want to call me. There we go. Evil Logic with his minions. Oh, brilliant. So we can go down here, and I can inspect the troops at all times now. There is no mucking around. There I am. Brilliant. All right, so I'm going to go and check on the kelp. I think we still need a little bit more, so I'm just going to wait around for a bit, and then hopefully we'll get enough, and then we can finish off that hangar ceiling in time for the end of the episode. Another shulker box has just come through as I was tidying away, and I am filling up these hoppers with this last bit of kelp from this last shulker box. Is that empty? Yes. Okay, so this might be it. This might be it. So we've got all of these here so far. So we've got 9 shulker boxes here. This will give us 10. That might just be enough. And I did actually find a little bit in my in my storage that was over there. So this might be it. We might have cracked it. So we'll have to wait and see. But we'll do that in a second. And I just wanted to clarify with the bit getting killed when I was AFK. I think it was because as I was building up that the room downstairs, there was a few times where I angered some Endermen. I looked at them because we've had a few of them spawning around, and I think it must have been an angry one came back to get me for revenge and got me through the corner. But yeah, that was a bit bad. But anyway, hopefully, just got to wait for these smokers to do their work, and then we can get building with the ceiling. That's it. We did it. It's all done. And I must admit, I didn't think we'd get it done this episode. I thought there was going to be too much to do, but yeah, got it done, and got a few blocks left. So got a couple of stacks and a bit. That's not enough to do the kelp farm itself, I don't think. So I'll do that in between episodes. But yes, this is looking good. So I guess we need to go down and have a look what it looks like from the hangar. But let's check out our stats. So let's see actually how many blocks we actually did. So if we go to here and we sort by that, and it's around 2,000. If I scroll down a little bit, we should see it. There it is. So we placed 1,951, so slightly less than I thought. But yeah, that is pretty cool. All right, let's go down inside the hangar and check this thing out. Check it out. That is looking pretty good. I think that is looking very good indeed, in fact. So yeah, that has turned out very nice. So that's a good replacement for the cauldrons. We get a bit of detail there, got a bit of texture, and I think the lines really make sense in this kind of ceiling, you know, Death Star. So very happy how that has turned out. So a big thank you to White Rabbit again for that suggestion. That was really cool. So this place is now filling out. If we have a quick fly around, let me show you. And as we fly around inside this Death Star, you can see that there is not much room for manoeuvre. In fact, you could probably make a mini game out of this. But yeah, we've got some space, still got a bit of space light here. And yeah, we are definitely going to be adding some more builds to this in the future. But we are fast approaching episode 100. Only 2 more to go before the big one. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. Things are still working out. So far, so good. So hopefully that's all going to work out. But here is our new kelp farm right here, this big box. And obviously the corridor that leads to it. But yeah, we have got lots of stuff in here, and this is looking really cool. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, then please hit the like button, and if you are new, then feel free to subscribe, and if you've got any comments or suggestions or anything like that, then get it in that comment section. All right, my geeks, until next time, I will see you later.